Hey, beautiful Taurus souls. I just had to share this incredible energy shift I'm picking up for you right now. You know how sometimes the universe has this perfect timing where everything just clicks into place? Well, that's exactly what's happening with this whole situation, where someone who used to dismiss you or even laugh at your dreams is now watching you with completely different eyes. I'm sitting here with my cards, and I have to tell you, the first thing that came through was absolutely mind-blowing. The very first card that wanted to speak to your situation is the Four of Swords. And I know what you're thinking. That seems like such a quiet card for this intense topic, right? But hear me out, because this is exactly why this card is perfect. The Four of Swords is showing me that you've reached this place of mental peace and detachment that is honestly driving this person absolutely crazy. You know that feeling when you've been through the storm and you come out the other side just different, not bitter, not angry, just completely at peace with who you are and where you're going. That's what this card is telling me about your energy right now. This person who once laughed at you, they're used to getting reactions from people. They're used to their words having power, their opinions mattering, their dismissal actually affecting someone's confidence. But you've moved into this Four of Swords energy, where their opinion literally has no impact on your inner state anymore. You're not even fighting them or arguing back. You're just unbothered. And that is what's making them take notice. I'm seeing this so clearly in the imagery of this card. You know how the figure is lying in rest, completely peaceful, with the swords above representing all the mental battles that have been put to rest. That's you right now, Taurus. All those thoughts about proving yourself to this person, all that mental energy you used to waste wondering what they thought of you, it's all been set aside. You found your inner sanctuary. What's fascinating is that this Four of Swords isn't telling me you're ignoring them out of spite or playing hard to get. No, this is deeper than that. You've genuinely moved beyond caring about their validation because you've found something much more valuable, your own approval. And honey, let me tell you, that kind of authentic indifference is magnetic in a way that trying to impress someone never could be. The next card that came through is making so much sense with this energy. I pulled the Knight of Pentacles, and oh my goodness, this is showing me exactly how your approach to life has completely transformed. This isn't the flashy, look at me energy that people expect when someone's trying to prove a point. This is steady, determined, practical progress that speaks louder than any words ever could. The Knight of Pentacles is telling me that while this person was busy laughing at your dreams or dismissing your plans, you were quietly, methodically building something real. You weren't making a big show of it. You weren't posting about it for validation. You were just putting one foot in front of the other day after day, working toward your goals with that beautiful Taurus determination. And now they're seeing the results. They're seeing that while they were talking, you were doing. While they were judging, you were growing. While they were comfortable in their assumptions about you, you were completely transforming your reality. The Knight of Pentacles doesn't need to announce his victories because his work speaks for itself. This card is showing me that your progress has been so steady and consistent that even you might not realize how far you've come. But this person, they're seeing it clearly now. They're watching you move through life with this quiet confidence, this practical wisdom, this solid foundation you've built for yourself, and it's completely changing their perception of who you are. What I love about the Knight of Pentacles energy is that it's not reactive. When someone laughs at this knight's methods, he doesn't speed up to prove them wrong or change his approach to gain their approval. He just keeps doing what works, keeps building what matters, keeps focusing on his own path, and eventually, undeniably, the results speak for themselves. The third card that wanted to come through is absolutely blowing my mind because it's so perfect for this situation. I pulled the Eight of Cups, and this is telling the whole story of how you got to this place of beautiful indifference. This card is showing me that at some point you made a conscious decision to walk away from seeking this person's approval or validation. The Eight of Cups represents that moment when you realize that some things just aren't worth your emotional investment anymore. It's not about anger or revenge, it's about recognizing that your energy is precious and choosing to direct it toward things that actually serve your highest good. This person's opinion, it just doesn't serve you anymore. I'm seeing in this card that there was probably a specific moment or realization where you just let go, Maybe it was after one too many dismissive comments, or maybe you just woke up one day and realized you'd outgrown needing their approval. The figure in the Eight of Cups is walking away from those cups, those emotional investments that no longer fulfill them. That's exactly what you did with this person's opinion of you. What's beautiful about this energy is that it's not about cutting people off dramatically or making a big statement. The Eight of Cups is about quietly redirecting your emotional energy toward things that actually nurture your soul. You didn't need to announce that you no longer cared what they thought, you just stopped caring, and that shift is so much more powerful than any dramatic gesture could ever be. This card is showing me that your journey toward indifference wasn't instant. The Eight of Cups represents a process of emotional maturation where you gradually learn to distinguish between what deserves your energy and what doesn't. This person's laughter or dismissal, it simply doesn't qualify for space in your emotional landscape anymore. Now here's where things get really interesting. The fourth card came through with such strong energy. It's the Queen of Wands, and this is showing me the version of you that this person is now seeing. Remember, they're used to the old version of you who might have been seeking their approval or validation. But the Queen of Wands, she doesn't seek anyone's approval because she knows her own worth. This queen sits on her throne holding her sunflower and her wand, completely confident in her own power and vision. She's not performing for anyone or trying to prove anything to anybody. She's just radiating this natural magnetism that comes from being absolutely secure in who she is. That is the energy this person is now witnessing in you, and it's completely different from what they expected. The Queen of Wands is showing me that you've stepped into this version of yourself that's creative, confident, and completely self-directed. You're not asking for permission anymore. You're not looking for validation. You're just living your life according to your own inner compass. And honey, that kind of authentic self-possession is impossible to ignore. What's fascinating is that the Queen of Wands has this quality where she's warm and generous with people who deserve her energy, but she has absolutely no time for those who don't. She's not mean about it, she's not vindictive. She just literally doesn't have space in her consciousness for people who don't add value to her life. Sound familiar? This person is probably used to having some kind of effect on people, getting some kind of reaction, holding some kind of power in social dynamics. But with Queen of Wands energy, you're operating from such a centered place that their old tactics just don't work on you anymore. You're not playing the same game you used to play. The fifth card that came through is giving me chills because it's showing me exactly what this shift looks like from their perspective. I pulled the Two of Pentacles, and this is telling me that they are literally juggling their perception of you right now. They're trying to balance their old assumptions about who you were with this new reality of who you've become. The Two of Pentacles shows someone trying to manage two different energies, keep two different realities in balance, and that's exactly what this person is dealing with. On one hand, they have their memory of you as someone they could dismiss or laugh at. On the other hand, they have the current evidence of you thriving, growing, and completely unbothered by their opinion. This card is showing me that they're actually struggling with this cognitive dissonance. It's easier to maintain a dismissive attitude towards someone when they're reacting to you, when they're trying to prove you wrong, when they're giving you the power to affect their emotional state. But when someone just moves on and flourishes without needing your approval, that challenges everything you thought you knew about your own influence and importance. The Two of Pentacles often represents the need to adapt to changing circumstances, and that's exactly what this person is having to do. They're having to adapt their entire understanding of who you are and what you're capable of. They're having to juggle their ego, which doesn't want to admit they were wrong about you, with the undeniable evidence that you're thriving without their validation. What I love about this energy is that you're not even trying to prove anything to them. The Two of Pentacles is showing me that while they're over there juggling their perceptions and trying to make sense of this new version of you, you're just living your life. You're focused on your own growth, your own goals, your own happiness. Their confusion about who you are isn't your problem to solve. The sixth card that wanted to speak to this situation is absolutely perfect, and I have to tell you, when I saw it, I literally got goosebumps. It's the Three of Wands, and this is showing me that you are so focused on your own horizon, your own future, your own expansion, that this person and their opinions have become completely irrelevant to your vision. The Three of Wands is all about looking toward the future with confidence and excitement. The figure in this card is standing on a cliff, looking out at ships returning with treasure, representing all the good things that are coming as a result of their planning and effort. That's your energy right now, Taurus. You're so focused on what you're building and where you're going that you literally don't have time to look back at people who didn't believe in your journey. This card is showing me that your indifference isn't forced or performed. It's natural because you're genuinely excited about your own path. When you're truly focused on your own growth and expansion, other people's outdated opinions about you become background noise. You're not ignoring this person to hurt them. You're just genuinely more interested in your own possibilities than in their perceptions. The Three of Wands represents that beautiful moment when you realize that you're the captain of your own ship, the author of your own story, the architect of your own future. What someone who laughed at you 2 years ago thinks about your dreams. It's just not relevant to the person you're becoming. What's particularly powerful about this card in your reading is that it's showing me you're not just moving on from this person's negativity. You're actively creating something amazing. The ships in the Three of Wands are coming back loaded with treasure, representing the rewards that come from staying focused on your own vision instead of getting distracted by other people's limitations. Now, the seventh card came through, and I have to say, this one surprised me at first, but then it made perfect sense. It's the Five of Cups, but not in the way you might think. This card is actually showing me their emotional state as they watch your transformation and realize that you truly don't care about their opinion anymore. The Five of Cups traditionally shows someone focused on what they've lost or spilled, missing the cups that are still standing behind them. In this context, I'm seeing this as their realization of what they've lost by dismissing you. They're standing there looking at the spilled cups, the relationship or connection they could have had with you if they'd treated you with respect from the beginning. But here's what's really beautiful about this card in your reading. Those two cups still standing represent the possibility of respect and recognition they could still offer you. However, the figure in this card is so focused on what they've lost that they can't even see what's still available to them. That's exactly what's happening with this person. They're realizing that by laughing at you, by dismissing your dreams, by treating you as less than, they've lost the opportunity to be part of your success story. They're seeing you thrive and realizing that they could have been supporting you, celebrating with you, learning from you all along. Instead, they're stuck on the outside looking in at a version of you that no longer has space for their negativity. What I love about this Five of Cups energy in your reading is that it's not your problem to solve. You're not responsible for their regret or their realization that they misjudged you. The person in this card has to deal with their own feelings about the opportunities they've lost through their own choices. The eighth card that came through is making me emotional because it's so beautiful and powerful for your situation. I pulled the Hermit, and this is showing me that your journey to this place of authentic indifference required you to spend time alone, getting to know yourself deeply, and finding your own inner light. The Hermit represents that crucial phase where you stopped looking to external sources for validation and started cultivating your own wisdom, your own guidance, your own sense of worth. This person who laughed at you probably never realized that their dismissal was actually pushing you toward this incredible journey of self-discovery. The lantern in the Hermit's hand represents the inner light you've developed through this process. It's the wisdom that comes from learning to trust yourself, the confidence that comes from knowing your own value regardless of what others think, the peace that comes from being guided by your own authentic truth rather than other people's opinions. This card is showing me that your current indifference isn't cold or calculated. It's enlightened. You've done the inner work to understand who you are and what you're worth. And from that centered place, this person's opinion simply doesn't have the power to disturb your peace anymore. The Hermit also represents being a light for others who are still finding their way. I'm seeing that your transformation, your quiet confidence, your authentic indifference is actually inspiring other people who might have also been dismissed or underestimated. You're showing them what's possible when you stop seeking external validation and start honoring your own path. What's particularly powerful about the Hermit in your reading is that it shows this wasn't just about stopping caring what this one person thinks, it was about a complete transformation in how you relate to yourself and the world. You've become your own source of approval, your own source of guidance, your own source of light. The final card in this reading is absolutely perfect. And honestly, when I pulled it, I felt like the universe was putting an exclamation point on everything we've been talking about. It's the Nine of Pentacles, and this card is showing me the beautiful, abundant, completely self-sufficient life you've created while this person was busy underestimating you. The Nine of Pentacles is often called the card of luxury and independence, showing someone who has created abundance through their own efforts and is now enjoying the fruits of their labor. But in your reading, it's about so much more than material success. It's about the emotional and spiritual abundance that comes from learning to value yourself properly. This card shows a figure in a beautiful garden surrounded by the abundance they've cultivated through their own wisdom and effort. That's your life right now, Taurus. While this person was laughing at your dreams, you were planting seeds. While they were dismissing your potential, you were nurturing your growth. While they were comfortable in their assumptions, you were building something beautiful. The Nine of Pentacles represents complete self-reliance and self-satisfaction. You don't need this person's approval because you've created a life that fulfills you. You don't need their validation because you can see the evidence of your own success all around you. You don't need their recognition because you recognize yourself. What I love about this card is that it shows someone who is genuinely content with their own company and their own choices. The figure in this card isn't performing their success for anyone else's benefit. They're simply enjoying the life they've created. That's exactly the energy that's driving this person crazy about your current attitude toward them. So here's what I want you to understand about this whole situation, beautiful Taurus. This person's shift from laughing at you to noticing your indifference isn't really about you at all. It's about their own realization that they completely misjudged your potential and your worth. They're seeing you now as someone who has grown beyond their limited perception of who you were supposed to be. Your indifference isn't a strategy or a game you're playing. It's the natural result of genuine growth and self-development. When you truly know your own worth, when you're genuinely excited about your own path, when you're authentically content with your own choices, other people's outdated opinions about you become irrelevant, not because you're trying to ignore them, but because they simply don't factor into your reality anymore. The beautiful thing about where you are right now is that you're not indifferent because you're trying to hurt this person or prove a point. You're indifferent because you found something better, your own approval, your own vision, your own sense of purpose. And that kind of authentic fulfillment is so much more attractive and powerful than anything you could have achieved by trying to prove them wrong.